Hi everybody, this is Father Warner D'Souza. Our text today is from Luke chapter 16. We are looking at verses 1 all the way to verse 8. The parable of the prodigal son is followed by the parable of the prodigal servant. Prodigal simply means wasteful. He is the prodigal servant because, like the prodigal son in Luke chapter 15 verse 13, the very words are used to describe his actions. He too squandered his master's property. While charges were brought against the man for cooking the books in verse 1, the master, who is described as a rich man, acts on hearsay, verse 2, demanding the accounts and dismissing the man in the very same breath. By default, slaves were considered dishonest. In fact, they could not serve as witnesses in a court except under torture. Note that the manager remains silent when the owner accuses him of being guilty of mismanagement. The manager seems resigned to his fate, either because he knows he has truly squandered the master's money or simply because he is unable to fight the forces that are against him. From the narration that follows, it seems to be the former. He is a full-blown crook, as the manager then forms a devious plan to swindle his master while securing his own future. Interestingly, the manager is in touch with reality. He knows that age is against him and physically he is unable to work. He also seems to have developed some social standing which would cause him embarrassment should he need to borrow or beg, as the word appears in the text. Ironically, the man may have been ashamed to beg, but he wasn't ashamed to steal. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people like that today. So before the sun sets on his last day at work, he comes up with a clever plan that will continue to keep him in good societal standing. He gives his master's creditors a large discount, waiving off much of their debt. There are two debtors that are mentioned. The first owed his master 100 jugs of olive oil, equivalent to 875 gallons or 1,000 denarii, or approximately about 3 years in wages. This he writes off by 50%. The second debtor owed his master 100 containers of wheat, or about 3,000 denarii, or 8 to 10 years of wages, and this was slashed by 20%. Here now lies the apparent paradox, for on hearing of the fraud, the master commended the dishonest manager because he acted shrewdly. Remember that this is a parable, and the point of a parable is not to tell us a story, but to make a point using a story. The master is not praising his manager for his dishonesty, as most people assume. He is praising him for his shrewdness, in order to draw our attention that the children of light must not assume that faith is a matter of being namby-pamby. Jesus teaches us that we can learn even from dishonest people who are smart. It would be great if all true believers were as clever in spiritual matters as these crooks are in plying their trade. The manager adapts quickly to a crisis, and so should we, especially in these pandemic days. Within a very different value system of the children of light, do we have the same level of shrewdness and astuteness, but exercise morally, as the manager in the parable? Sadly, this manager who was praised for being shrewd could have also used his shrewdness to be faithful. So here's a question. How am I managing the gifts God has given me? They are meant to be at the service of those who most need it. Thank you for being part of these daily reflections. Please do subscribe to this channel, and please share it with all your friends. We enjoy making it for you. I do hope you enjoy sharing it with others. God bless you.